Call the order. March 27th, House Civil Board Commission. Welcome, everyone. First thing on our agenda is to approve the agenda. I didn't have a motion, we do that. Have a motion, do we have any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say aye. Motion carried. Do not have a consent agenda, so next is, anyone signed up for public comment?
One person.
Okay.
Morning, everybody. Sorry for my casual attire. I've been busy this morning. Okay, so I saw the hurricane response come up on the agenda today. And kind of glad it's months after the fact, because I have to tell you, I found the response absolutely unforgivable about the lack of communication. For one thing, I did not know we had high-speed access downtown. The fact that that was down there and the public was not aware that that was an easy way, maybe potentially communicate with, say, your mom, how you are still alive. Absolutely should have been out there. Okay. And along those lines, because it was open, the first thing I did once I got a hold of my mom and said, yes, everything's fine, it's okay, was get online and look at the Jackson County website and the Sylva website and look for information. You know what? Absolutely nothing was updated. You guys could have walked downtown and started getting that stuff updated, or gotten your web administrator to go down and start updating that stuff. It was absolutely not okay. And I finally, days into it, heard on the radio from Jackson County's public relations person. That was useless, y'all. Useless. Why weren't you on the radio station every few hours? Why didn't you tell us our tower is still standing physically? Is it up or is it down? You just left us in the dark. The water station. Oh, okay. Is it overwhelmed or is it in pieces? Okay. Nobody at this table had anybody go downtown and start communicating with the citizens. That was unforgivable. Every single one of you are in a fight for your jobs. As far as I'm concerned, you're all fired. I am not going to forget. And there was no way that that was okay, that nobody thought, hey, let's go downtown and start updating the citizens some kind of way. Let's get on the radio. Asheville was on every 3 hours, public radio. We had our radio station up and running. I don't know how long it took them to get ours up and running, but it was. Where were you? Okay. On another subject, and I'm realizing, I'll run quick. Obviously, the budget cuts that Washington is currently doing is going to affect the health department, the education department, the aging department, the parks department. I need to know from you guys what you're going to do about the time that we can't, we have Medicaid patients that suddenly can't get care, that the health department can't give shots of immunity. What are you going to do about it? Okay, I have to get back to what I was doing. I'm not good.
Thank you for your time. Right, anyone else?
You know, I can't have to do something about that.
Right. So moving on to reports. I guess, part of the mayor's report, I guess I was slightly involved in one thing. I received a complaint about quite a bit of garbage on Chipper Curve Road and a lot of cardboard blowing over from the paper mill. And I went over and talked to the CFO and, very cooperative, told me they'd be glad to take care of the responsibility. I suggested that they adopt that section of highway through the DOT. And to my knowledge, they have done that. And, we're willing to take the responsibility and try to keep it clean. So, I was glad to hear that response. And everybody keep their hearts and minds open for people with plans on fire on Steve Branch and Beaches Branch and places if they ever spread the other ways. Our fire department's been working awful hard trying to help. I know U.S. Forest Service and North Carolina Forest Service are working for it. And that's all I have. Mary?
I just want to echo you and send my thoughts and prayers out to everyone that's being affected by the fires nationwide.
Nothing to report. Thank you. Nothing to report.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Tyler with Signs and Designs, working on in his building, doing the mural. Sylva on there, it's really looks good. I was looking at it this morning. It's really a pop. And when you drive through town and see that historical setting, right there, he did a really good. Still working on it.
Yeah.
Doing a real good job on it.
Good.
That's all I got.
Good. Oh, yeah, I think he'll be done next week, right here. Good morning. I think I mentioned something last meeting about just our gratitude for the response from this board, our town, the outpouring support, my mother passing away. Thank you officially for the flowers and all the response, text messages, cards, and all that. It's very appreciated. It's good to be in a town where people care about you and support you. Come around you during difficult times. So thank you for that. I didn't catch the name of the person who gave public comment days of you.
Christine Tabor.
Sorry?
Christine
Tabor.
Tabor would be.
Tabor. I want to just comment on a couple of things she mentioned. I would dispute the thing she left before she responded to her, but I think that the response in our town was good. We can always sit back and say it could have been better. But your mayor was out there talking to people by the creek as we watched it rising quickly. And there were people on this board out there talking to people in town, trying to figure out what was and wasn't impacted. Power, water, communications. And so I think it's worth noting that there was a response, could have been better, perhaps. But I was proud of the way our town came together. And communication was challenging because we didn't have any. Or cell phone towers weren't working. So I was proud to see our fire department, public works, PD, board members, mayor, respond in the way we did. It could have been worse. I think we were spared in a lot of ways. But I think it's worth noting that, that it was a good response. Perfect, not so probably, but a good response. And I think we can learn from it. Make the next one better. So I do appreciate Ms. Taylor's comments, but I think that you probably respectfully disagree on some of that. That's all I got.
Okay. When the commissioners go after me, it always reminds me of something else I haven't said, but I haven't reported that at the Southwestern Commission meeting recently, our police chief and his staff and Cindy with Western Carolina University put on a very nice presentation about the community care program and got that word out even farther to decision makers that were in the room, because there were senators and legislators and congressmen and people there that need to know those things and need to help with those things. Good job, Chief. That was a fine presentation.
Thank you, Mayor.
Lastly, adding to what John was saying, of course, during public speaking, it's not our job to respond to them. We're just going to sit here and hear what they have to say. But I think, our town did a real good job in most aspects. We maybe could have done better with, just emergency management along with their emergency call, talk about access to the internet at the police department in town. But other than that, we had very little damage and, the end result is it's not typical case to put word out that all our stuff's still working. You just put out that it's not working and ours was, so. So with all that being said, I will move on to our manager's report.
Good morning. Please remember, we've got a budget work session after the meeting today. An employment update, we're still conducting interviews for the vacant officer position and we're advertising for the vacant maintenance technician position in Public Works. Bryson Park's coming along and looking great. The siding of the building will be painted the same gray as the public restroom. We're aiming to open in June. Concrete work will be the determining factor on when we're able to open. There's still a vacancy on the planning board for a remainder of the term that will end December 31st, 2026. So please let us know if you know of someone that's interested and we'll get them an application. Ringing Up the Mountains, of course, is Saturday, April the 26th from 10 to 4. We're going to hold a ribbon cutting for the restroom at 2 o'clock. I hope you'll be able to attend. This was part of the requirement with some of our grant funding to publicize it with an event following the completion of the project. So we want to be sure we invite everyone that helped make sure that project was possible. Any questions?
Just think about it. Public Works.
Morning, everybody. A little bit more detail on Bryson Park. Tiles being installed currently. That should be done, and the plumbing completion will be done probably mid to late next week. Roof is on, it looks great. Siding's on, it looks great. I would encourage you guys to get by there and check it out, if you haven't had a chance to do it. I'm excited for that facelift to be completed at that park. We have new site furnishings, benches, trash cans, exercise equipment. It's all on site, as well as additional sunshades. That's going to be installed at the completion of the pavilion. And we're going to pave that basketball court, do some concrete work and some tie-in, build a new fence, and be done with that. I'm happy to answer questions, but I'm excited to get that park back open for the first time in 3 years. Bernadette's organized a volunteer work effort this weekend, spread mulch, clean up graffiti and stuff like that in the downtown town hall social district area. I really appreciate that. If you guys are able to help out, we would certainly appreciate it. I do expect some preliminary cost estimations on the Scotts Creek retaining wall, mid to late next week. We'll be submitting those to them. Worth noting that those are not the official RFPs. Those are just cost estimations done by construction and engineering professionals, which will be the first step in getting that project out to bid. The assault on Black Rock was last weekend. I'm told it was a success. I'd like to thank the organizers of that event. With all this wind lately, we've had a terrible time keeping those trails clear. They really stepped up and helped us prepare for that race. Currently installing new banner arms on the new street lights downtown. Painting all those site furnishings to match. As soon as that's completed, and we'll get those mast arms painted, Johnny, and everything will match. Paige said greening up the mountains is in less than a month, and we're already in full swing making preparations for that. And I'd also like to echo everybody's thanks for the fire and emergency management personnel. I know they've been putting in some time, helping everybody fight these fires. So thank you, Mike, and please pass that on to your guys. Any questions?
Do you have a anticipated Bryson Park completion, like months?
June? Yeah, I'm hoping early to mid-June.
We're gonna try to get the banks off. We need it done.
Yeah. When we open, everything's gonna be brand spanking new.
Okay, and also part of that conversation with the paper mill. They were very gracious and being willing to do an extra cleanup right before the grand opening of Bryson Park as well.
Fantastic. Any more?
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, everybody.
Police Department.
Morning, everybody. Just real quick comment on the comments we heard this morning. Just for everybody's knowledge, the PD has participated in after action reviews for things that our channel response. And as always, you're always going to learn lessons in those things you could have done better, could have done different. I'm very proud of our challenge response for that. I think we did a great job, and the lessons learned were things that just, if we had this, it would have gone better that way, that sort of thing. So we've also participated in the county's after action review as well. And a lot of things, there's always a lot of confusion about jurisdictions, and that's a good chance that's the case here today, is that people think that the town do things that actually the county does, or the county, vice versa kind of thing. So I've run into that quite a bit, but anyway, I just wanted to say that we've participated in those after action reviews. We've documented the things that we've learned, and actually just as recent as last night, Assistant Chief Carter and I were on the phone talking about this fire, applying some of those things that we learned from the flood situation to this. So anyway, just throwing that out there. The police department's been busy as usual. We do still have one opening. We've done some interviews recently. I've told the board this before, but we have one position open. It's been open for a while. I do not feel a pressure to feel it when we got to make sure we hire the right people. And so like I said, we've been doing some interviews. We've got some potential folks that could probably do the job. We're doing our part to make sure we hire the right police officer for Sylva. So there's some jobs I think you can hire somebody that just has the skills. Police officer, I see that a little different. A whole lot of things kind of come together and be the right officer, especially in town. So that's what we're doing with that. During this past month, we had a full day of filming. The UNC School of Government Criminal Justice Innovation Lab came here. They filmed us all day long until into the evening. They're going to create a video. They interviewed some clients from the community care program. They interviewed officers. They interviewed, I think they did 15 community interviews. They're doing a really thorough study of this. The plan is to put it out as a model for the state. And they do really good work. So I'm really excited to see how that comes out. It's going to be something I think we can all be proud of. So that was an exciting day for us. Just run through some real quick stats. In our CAD computer system, we documented over 1,100 actions for the police department, 146 traffic stops. We worked about 33 traffic crashes, and 12 felony arrests, 18 misdemeanor arrests just during the last probably 30 days. And another one that you may see a little more of, I just got word of this, but our detective, Chris Cobb, he just earned his North Carolina Justice Academy Criminal Investigation Certificate. That's like 500 hours it takes to do that. So and some really good training for him and the specialty job that he does. So we're really proud of him. And like I said, you may hear more about that soon. But another thing I just found out actually just yesterday is we've been nominated for Western Carolina University has nominated us for an impact award. So I don't know a whole lot about that other than I just found out about that yesterday. So that's exciting too. Any questions?
Good. Thank you, Chief. Fire department.
Good morning.
You got enough energy to talk, Mike?
Maybe. My voice is not big for a while, but I'll try. Anyway, we've had the 346 calls so far this year, which is a lot. At this same time. Which I don't know about fire on the big frame. It's basically contained or towers that be burned. There will be stop fail today. Forest Service in North Carolina and the US is the first day. And we'll have a couple guys up our call, so in room try to back burn that top part of the mountain off. That's the plan today. It's away from the houses and things, so everybody should be good. We've also sent people to other counties. Last week or so, we had 2 crews went to Polk County. And then we sent a truck yesterday to Transylvania County on the Table Rock fire. So there's lots of fires going on all around us. Of course, today we're not sending anybody anywhere because we can't. We got to do our own. So we have called in extra help today. So we can get to brush fire and also still have protection for town and stuff.
May have to do that a couple of days. That's where we are. Do we have any questions?
How many fires do we have in Sylva area here currently?
Just that one,
Okay,
just that one.
that's off Fisher Creek area.
It's, Matisse Branch Kitchen Branch.
Yeah.
Going up towards, it'll actually go over into Dix Creek if it keeps going.
Fire lines y'all burn off was prevented from going to, Allen Branch and.
Yes,
Fisher Creek, right?
yes, they got dozer lines on both sides of it.
Yeah.
So all they can do is go straight up the mountain right now, because there's nothing up there. That's how we left it last night, and that's the reason we left it like that. We did everything we had to do yesterday to keep it off people's house. So everybody's house should be fine. And then they'll go up there today, and they're gonna come in above it and try to burn it down. It'll look really bad for a little while, say, but it's really not. It's under control.
Thank you very much for the work y'all do.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Greg, for both.
Morning. The Jackson County Business Appreciation Dinner was held this past Monday at Peacock Reserve. The first annual event was a big success with around 200 attendees from businesses throughout Jackson County. Sylva merchants were really well represented. So that was a great event. I also attended the North Carolina Main Street Conference the second week of March in Mooresville, along with 3 Main Street Association board members. There were over 350 attendees with great information, networking, and building and streetscape tours. So we learned a lot. Governor Stein gave us a status update, and it was very inspiring. All of the facade grant projects are complete or nearing completion. And these projects are definitely complementing all of the public town improvements that Jake and his crew have been working on. So thank you for all of your support on this program. And as Jake mentioned, tomorrow and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., we'll be hosting the Downtown Cleanup Days in conjunction with the Jackson County Litter Task Force Spring Cleanup Program. We'll be picking up litter, removing stickers, graffiti, spreading mulch, doing a little trimming. So if you or someone you know wants to join us, they can either sign up at mainstreetsylva.org or just show up at 9 o'clock at Bridge Park, where we'll kind of parse out our assignments. And finally, the Jackson County Chamber is hosting Friends Night Out today from noon to 7 in downtown Sylva. Almost all the downtown merchants are participating, and they're offering specials and free treats and things like that. Attendees will bring their purchase receipts to the chamber, where for each $25 worth of receipts they turn into the chamber, they'll get an entry to win one of 25 sling bags or a shopping and dining frenzy worth over $300. So we're really excited about that. We appreciate our partnership with Jackson County Chamber of Commerce and how much they add to the community. You guys have any questions?
How long will the cleanup go Saturday?
9 to 1.
Are there some people already registered for it?
Yes. Rotary helps us on Saturday.
Okay.
And we've got a few people registered here and there, but we can always use more. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Planning board report.
The planning board met February the 27th and recommended the 2 zoning map amendments that you all approved at the last meeting. There will not be a meeting tonight due to lack of business.
And
Yes, so the wastewater treatment plant near Harold's, WASA approved a resolution to repair that, and it's expensive repair. The initial, I think it was 7.9 million, and they changed the scope of the project to bring it down to 5.5 million. So I'm glad that's moving forward. February rain event, it was not enough turbidity, and there will be a notice that's mailed within the next bill statements. So since Helene, the river just becomes turbid faster. Clearwell plant will start with concrete work in early April, so we'll start to see changes as that project goes vertical. That's all I have.
And do we have anyone with a Pinnacle Park report?
I can speak to that, Mayor. I was able to go to, my first board meeting there with the part of Jay Coward's office. Good things happen. Got this whole, master plan that I believe you have actually sent out, Paige, and have been working on, but, a lot of good things. There's been, grant money, that has been offered by someone in the community that I'm not gonna speak to the details of that, but, that's, working on that. And so, trails, a lot of things happening. So, probably can offer more after the next meeting review.
Okay. My curiosity's got me, Mike. Is Pinnacle Park in any danger with this fire?
Shouldn't be, no.
All right. So that is completes reports. And moving on to new business. First item on the agenda is loan agreement for local government disaster response. Can you explain that?
Yes, so the state treasurer's office is dispersing principal-only loans without interest to local governments that were impacted by Hurricane Helene. We were notified, we were pre-approved for $203,928.93 based off the damage inventory that we submitted into our FEMA and North Carolina Emergency Management Grant portal. So the cash flow loan has to be used for disaster response activities and must be repaid as soon as we receive our FEMA reimbursement. So the schedule is, aside from receiving the FEMA reimbursement, is that we would pay 10% by June 30th, 2027, and then 20, 30, 40, and 50% to the 5th year of the loan. But we'll pay it back as soon as we receive our funding from FEMA. So the board just needs to approve the resolution that's in the packet. And the mayor, you'll need to sign the agreement, but this will be on our next consent agenda.
So I would entertain a motion that we do that.
What is the motion?
We're gonna approve the loan agreement.
Which is, there's just basically no cash flow involved, where it's a loan from one place they're going to repay from FEMA. Is that right?
The treasurer's, the state treasury is sending us the $203,928.93. And then as to try to get work started, then as soon as we receive our FEMA reimbursement, we'll send it back to the treasurer's office.
Which we anticipate would be before there's even any payments due on the loan. Or,
That's hard to know.
okay,
We have a ballpark timetable on getting the FEMA funds.
No,
Same thing.
I mean, I think they want to send them out as soon as they can, but there's not anybody that is going to give us a time frame on that. So, but that's why we've started our project ordinance and been putting money into it since the hurricane.
I've not had a conversation with anybody about this, but it sort of looks to me like that's, state government is trying to escalate, helping get started on fixing things while we're waiting on FEMA. That's a way to get people started. That sounds to me.
Right. Well, and it's especially for governments that have larger damage than we did, that might not have the funds to really get the project started. This is a way to just get the money or to get the work going.
but the likelihood of FEMA making the reimbursement is 100%. It's like, it's not, we're not waiting on FEMA to say we're getting that reimbursement. We're just waiting on FEMA to actually give it to us.
Well, to a certain degree, we're waiting to see what kind of funding we would get so that we know the scope of our repair. But when it comes down to it, we know we have to fix that wall either way. We've been putting money into a project fund to start the repair. So if the repair has to happen, whether we accept this principal only loan, whether we receive reimbursement from FEMA or not.
Okay,
It's just early cash flow in the project.
Yeah.
It doesn't come from fund balance.
sounds all positive.
You making that motion?
Sure, yeah, I motion that we, make a motion that we approve that.
Okay, we'll have a motion. We'll have any more discussion. All in favor, raise your hand, say aye. All opposed, by like sign, the motion carries. Next item on the agenda is what John just had in his hand, the Pinnacle Park Master Plan adoption.
Yes. Equinox presented this draft to the board around this time last year so that they could submit the part of grant application on our behalf. They're told our part of application would score better if the final plan is adopted. So I sent you all the link at the end of last week, but it has a few additional sections and cost estimates that should also help the plan score better. More detailed recommendations and the strategic action plan for implementation, and then suggested signage for trailhead kiosks. So if the board adopts the master plan, they can go ahead and submit that a final one has been adopted and our application would score higher.
And on the motion, we adopt this plan.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have any discussion?
I'll just say that it's a very detailed plan and I'm impressed with all the work that's gone into it. They provide a couple different concepts for trails and amenities. I think it's exciting for our town.
I think all the folks on the Pinnacle Park Board, Jake Calvin chairing that thing, doing that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the hard work's been put into
And
it.
it's all done for free, just, I mean, so. But if we have a motion on the floor, all in favor, raise your hand, say aye. All opposed by like sign, motion carries. And the last thing on our agenda is the Board of Commissioners vacant seat appointment. And there's an election process that I think I'd like Paige to go ahead and explain to everybody.
So we've received 4 applications. Thank you all for your interest in this position. The candidate that will be selected will hold the seat until the November election. So the ballots that I'm going to pass out to you have the commissioner's name and then all 4 applicants. You'll make your selection and Amanda will read them out loud. The candidate that receives a majority of the votes will win the seat. So they don't have to win by a certain number of votes. There just has to be a majority and there can't be a tie. If there's a tie, we vote again. So I'll pass these out and if you'll fold them and hold it in the air after you have filled it out.
Just to be clear, mayor does not get to vote on this matter,
Correct.
not even if there's a tie.
Correct.
Ready? Commissioner Waldron, Joseph Waldron. Commissioner Estridge, Joseph Waldron. Commissioner Galbah, Joseph Waldron. Commissioner Brown, Joseph Waldron.
I think that's a clear answer. Congratulations, Mr. Walton. We'd like to have you stay at the budget meeting if you have time. For your knowledge. And when is it you swore in?
April the 10th. That's a 5:30 meeting.
And to the other applicants, I'll say that, we have some other positions with the town, and I'm very encouraged that we had 4 applications. And I hope the ones of you that weren't selected would be interested in maybe serving on the planning board or something else. And we do have a current vacancy on the planning board now. So I hope you express interest in one of those. Thank you for your time and effort. Is there anything else coming before the board?
Not, except we have our budget work session.
Yes, we have a budget work session and we'll take a brief break, and the budget work session is open to the public as well, right?
Yes.
So I think we'll take a 15-minute break and then we'll start our budget meeting. This time I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll take care of that. Motion we adjourn.
Okay, a motion to adjourn. We have any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Aye. All opposed by like sign. Stand adjourned.